Back at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh, David Akers getting set to kick off for the 9th time in 11 games. The Eagles have lost the opening coin toss. Tim, there is the probability of that happening.
It's almost as high as the probability of a 100-count vote down in Florida.
That's right. So David Akers will get things started. Troy Edwards and Hank Poteet back deep for the 5-4 Pittsburgh Steelers, whose 5-game winning streak came to an end last week in Nashville, while the Eagles beat the Cowboys in overtime. We are underway from Three Rivers. Troy Edwards from the 7-yard line. The second-year wide receiver looks to come to his right and is taken down at the 15-yard line. Good special teams coverage by Jeff Thomason. So Cordell Stewart making his first start here at home this season for the Steelers. He's 3-1 as a starter, all on the road. Kent Graham started the other home games. Roger Duffy starting at center for the injured perennial Pro Bowler Dermontti Dawson. Bettis and the rookie Kreider in the backfield. Burris and Ward are the wide receivers, and the tight end is Mark Bruner. Steelers start from their own 16-yard line. Off the play fake to Bettis. Stewart's pass is caught up at the 24-yard line by Hines Ward. A gain of 8. Jeremiah Trotter made the tackle.
And there you see the Steelers coming right out with the pass to try to establish some confidence in that part of their game.
Stewart completed only 7 of 22 last week against the Titans. No Steeler had more than 1 reception in that game. Gain of 8 on first down, setting up 2nd and 2. 2 tight ends in the game for the Steelers. Stewart changing the play.
And that's just what they wanted.
Stewart on 2nd down off the fingertips of Jerome Bettis. Jeremiah Trotter on the coverage. Eagles defense ranked 9th in the NFL. They allow only 14.5 points per game. Solid front four. Hugh Douglas leading the NFL with 13 sacks. Trotter in the middle with Gardner and the former Steeler Carlos Emmons. 2 Pro Bowlers in the secondary, Dawkins and Vincent. Taylor on the other corner. 3rd down and 2. Three wide receivers set for the Steelers. High snap. Stewart is stopped about 4 yards shy of the first down marker. Again, it's Jeremiah Trotter making the play for the Eagles.
Yeah, that's outstanding speed by Jeremiah Trotter. Now, Kenny, this is a run play here. You hear the crowd's not happy. This is a designed run play. It's a dash for Cordell Stewart, and they're basically saying, hey, run out there, use your feet. He has no intention of passing. Run and make the play for the first down. Trotter stops him.
So Josh Miller back inside his own 10, getting set. Brian Mitchell, one of the best return men in the history of the NFL, and Miller angles the punt out of bounds. So the Eagles will have good field position. They will start from their own 37-yard line. A 40-yard kick by Josh Miller. So here's Donovan McNabb in his 2nd season out of Syracuse. He's done a terrific job on the ground. He leads the Eagles in rushing after they lost Stu Staley for the year. More rushing yards than any other quarterback in the NFL. Big tackles, Thomas and the former Titan John Runyon. Darnell Autry with Cecil Martin, Torrance Small, and former Steeler Charles Johnson, the wideouts, and the tight end Chad Lewis. Off the play fake on first down. McNabb in trouble, dumps it off, looking for Darnell Autry. Jason Gilden applied the pressure on McNabb. Well, the Steelers have not allowed a touchdown in 5 games. They allow an NFL low 10.3 points per game. One of only 2 teams to use a 3-4 defense. The linebackers Porter, Holmes, Kirkland, and Gilden, and the secondary. 2nd and 10 from the 37. Three wide receiver set for the Eagles. As McNabb's pass is incomplete, intended for Charles Johnson. Chad Scott on the coverage.
Chad Scott's got the coverage out here, and you see the big cushion that he gives Charles Johnson. That's what 2nd and 10 does. You can back off. You know they've got a lot of yardage to pick up, so Scott gives them the big cushion, then he reacts back. Not a good pass, not good timing between Johnson and Donovan McNabb.
3rd and 10 for the Eagles on their first possession of the game. McNabb again looking for Charles Johnson. This time to Shea Townsend have the coverage, so the Eagles go 3 and out.
The Pittsburgh Steelers defense on that play, they came up. They're going to do a lot of this. They show blitz, so they look blitz. So McNabb thinks he's going to have someone open downfield. Then they bail out. It's a zone blitz. Stop the cut. If we stop the tape, look at the coverage. There's coverage everywhere. Even the underneath man is covered.
Sean Landeta's first punt of the day, and he keeps it away from the rookie Hank Poteet. And it's down at the 28-yard line. Back in Pittsburgh, Kenny Albert with Tim Green. Steelers head coach Bill Cowher in his 9th season, a former Philadelphia Eagle. He was their special teams MVP back in 1983. Both teams went 3 and out on their opening drives. Steelers start with 3 wide receivers from their own 28-yard line. First handoff of the day to the bus, Jerome Bettis. Big gain, 9 yards, out to the 37-yard line.
No, Kenny, actually, it wasn't 3 wide receivers. The 3rd wide receiver who was split was the fullback, Dan Kreider. And you're going to see him here. So they put a fullback out there, and he gets this block on the cornerback. So you've got a big blocker out there to block a pass defender, and that helps give Jerome Bettis that corner.
2nd down and 1 after the 9-yard pickup by Bettis. It's Bettis again, and he has the game's first down. A gain of 3 yards. Carlos Emmons made the tackle.
And what you're seeing right now is the Steelers going back to what they do best. They are a running offense. Now, they want to be able to show that they're willing to pass, and I think they did that on the first series. But now they're settling into what Bill Cowher wants them to do, and that is run the football, control it, rest that strong defense. The other thing is the Eagles' defense, if it has one weakness, it's been the run game straight at them.
On first down from the 40-yard line, the pitch to Bettis. And he gains just 1 yard. Mike Caldwell in on the stop. Eagles 6-4 under second-year head coach Andy Reid. Reid facing the Steelers for the first time. Eagles have won 3 of their last 4. 2 tight ends. 2nd and 10. Play action. Stewart looking downfield, and it's broken up. Nice play by the left quarterback, Troy Vincent. The intended receiver was first-round draft pick Plaxico Burress.
You know, Plaxico Burress is the Steelers' first-round draft pick. He's a big-body guy, so he's not going to beat you with speed. So Troy Vincent does great with position. He stays very close to him. Now, what Burress needs to do to take his game to the next level is to go to the ball. Instead of waiting for the ball to come to him, as he did in college, in the NFL, if you're going to be a big-time receiver, you got to go get that football.
Burress only 5 receptions the last 3 games. 3rd down and 10 for the Steelers. Stewart out of the shotgun, and a quick slant is caught by Burress, but he's forced out of bounds by Brian Dawkins, 6 yards shy of the first down marker.
Yeah, and this is a play here, again, for Plaxico Burress. If you're going to be a big-time player, you got to catch this ball, you got to make somebody miss. Watch the blitz. The corner abandons you, so you know the hot route. Cordell Stewart did the right thing. He throws it to his big body guy. You got to make Brian Dawkins miss. You can't just step out of bounds. You got to go through that guy and pick up a first down and make a big play.
Second punt of the game by Josh Miller. Fair catch called for by Brian Mitchell back at the 8-yard line. Early first quarter from Pittsburgh. Eagles and the Steelers are scoreless. Eagles went 3 and out on their opening drive. All 3 were pass plays. McNabb, 8 wins, 8 losses. In his 16 career starts, Eagles backed up at their own 8-yard line. And a false start indicated by the referee, Dick Hantak.
False start. Offense, number 72, will penalize half the distance to the goal line. Still first down.
Yeah, that's Trey Thomas. Now he's got Joey Porter coming over him. Porter's right here. He's the guy that he's got to block if this, in fact, is a pass play. You see he moves just a touch, so the crowd noise already affecting the Eagles' offense.
Penalized 4 yards, half the distance. And a handoff to Darnell Autry, gains 2 yards. Down to the 6, Aaron Smith made the tackle.
You know, this Steelers defense is really good, and I think the 2 areas where they're best, they're strongest in the NFL in the red zone. I think they're also strong in this part of the field when they've got another opposing offense with their back to the wall, because it's an aggressive defense and they tackle extremely well.
Empty backfield for the Eagles. On 2nd and 12, McNabb with time. The catch is made by Charles Johnson, but he gains only 2. So 3rd and long upcoming for the Eagles deep in their own territory.
And did you see how the Steelers defended that play, Kenny? They only rushed 3, and then they dropped the rest of the 8 defenders into a zone. And part of the reason they want to play a lot of zone today against the Eagles is the running ability of Donovan McNabb. They don't want to play man-to-man where their defensive backs have got their backs turned to McNabb chasing a receiver.
Eagles back to the original line of scrimmage, 3rd and 10 from the 8. Penalty marker in the secondary as McNabb takes it up to the 15-yard line. Penalty flags on the field. It's against the Steelers. Dick Hantak in his 23rd season, discussing the flags with his crew.
Illegal contact. Defense, number 41. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Lee Flowers, the guilty party, so an automatic first down for the Eagles up at the 20-yard line.
And that's too bad for the Steelers defense, because before that penalty, what we've seen is great coverage by the Steelers secondary. Donovan McNabb has not had a receiver to throw to.
Stanley Pritchett takes the handoff. Good second effort. And Pritchett dives to the 30. Close to another Eagles first down. Lee Flowers made the stop. Stanley Pritchett nearly tackled for a loss, but made the most of it.
Right, Kimo von Oelhoffen, the nose guard, comes up here, but Pritchard does a nice job of running right through that, and the Eagles' offensive line does a great job of giving him the corner.
Steelers don't miss many tackles. They're a good tackling team. 1st and 10 from the 31. McNabb with the screen pass to Autry. Darnell Autry, big game against the Cowboys last week. 122 total yards, and Autry is shaken up, starting his 4th consecutive game after the season-ending injury suffered by Deuce Staley week 5 against the Falcons.
Kenny, a couple minutes ago I said that the consistent part of this Eagles offense has been this right here, throwing to the tight ends and the running backs. But that's what you would expect from a West Coast offense. So far, we've seen really nothing between McNabb and his wide receivers.
On 2nd and 6, McNabb looking downfield. He throws and has the first down in Steelers territory. It's the tight end, Chad Lewis, a gain of 20 yards.
And this is just what Donovan McNabb's legs give you. You know, not only is he average over 7 yards a carry, watch him here. Watch the pocket. The pocket's going to start to break down. He's got no receiver, but he's able to get outside. He's able to twist around, set up, find a receiver, and deliver the ball.
Lewis leads all NFC tight ends in receptions this year with 36. Eagles in Steelers territory. Play clock winding down, and McNabb forced to call timeout.
Well, that's smart, and that's why, yeah, see Andy Reid saying it's smart too.
Eagles first and 10 on the Steelers 45. Darnell Autry down to the 41-yard line, a gain of 4. Lee Flowers made the tackle.
Well, you know, everyone talks about Darnell Autry and tries to fill in for Deuce Staley, and he had his kind of break where he went out to L.A. and tried to become an actor. And Kenny, we looked at his movie last night, a movie that he acted in. It was pretty good. I mean, I was laughing pretty hard. I like that. I also like him as a runner. I think he's got some moves. He's got some quickness. All he needs is more confidence.
He was out of football for 2 years. McNabb on 2nd and 6. Incomplete. Torrance Small, the intended receiver.
Nice pressure by the Steelers defense on that play. You know, Donovan McNabb is so hard to pressure because when you rush and you look at the big guys there who've got to pass rush him, you have to rush under control, especially the guys in the center. Because if you watch Donovan McNabb, where he gets his biggest runs is when he breaks the inside of the pocket, when he runs up these inside passing lanes.
3rd down and 6. Charles Johnson in motion. And McNabb's pass incomplete. Chad Lewis was the intended receiver. Brent Alexander on the coverage for the Steelers.
You know, before this pass here, McNabb had completed 3 for 3. But I know that Andy Reid, and this would have been a nice catch. I mean, if he made it, it would have been a nice catch. It wasn't an easy one. But Andy Reid's offense is built. It's the West Coast, so you got to be able to catch the football very consistently.
Fair catch back at the 19-yard line by Courtney Hawkins. Back in Pittsburgh, Kenny Albert with Tim Green. Just over 6 minutes remaining in the first quarter, no score. Both teams have punted twice.
And that's what we thought from the beginning. And you said it right at the beginning of this game. 2 really strong defensive football teams, 2 offenses trying to enhance their identity.
On first down from the 19, Jerome Bettis up the middle, out to the 27-yard line, a gain of 8. Damon Moore finally made the tackle.
And this is what happened to that Eagles defense last week against the Cowboys. Jerome Bettis is going to get past the first level. Eagles come with a run blitz. Their linebackers are up at the line of scrimmage. Once Bettis breaks that, it's very dangerous. Now you have to tackle him with a smaller defensive back. Puts a big smile on the bus's face.
Bettis gets stronger as the game goes along. First down for the Steelers. Bettis up to the 34-yard line, a gain of 6. You mentioned the Eagles in their game last week. Cowboys gained 204 yards on the ground.
And they did it with what the Steelers are doing right now, and that is you want to run straight at them. The Eagles' defense, they've got outstanding speed. They're very good against the pass because they blitz a lot. But if you can break that first level with them, you can pick up some big yards. And Jerome Bettis is suited physically for that kind of a game.
2 tight ends in. Bettis the lone back. And Stewart's pass on first down is caught by the tight end, Matt Cushing, who last week was working as a substitute teacher in Illinois, but he was brought back by the Steelers after the season-ending injury suffered by Corey Geeson. So Cushing makes his first catch of the year.
Yeah, but what you see here, this kind of a pass is just to let the Eagles know that you will pass. And that's not a serious attack to throw, no offense, but to throw it to a guy who hasn't even been around on a short route like that. You're just saying, well, we will pass.
On 2nd and 7, they go back to the run with Bettis. Close to another. Steelers first down, stopped about a half-yard shy. Gain of 6 for Jerome Bettis. Off to a terrific start, averaging 7 yards per carry today.
This is also a nice job of the Steelers' offensive line. Without their best lineman, Dermontti Dawson, opening up a hole here for Jerome Bettis to run through. That's a pretty nice hole, and then you see him, again, getting into that second level where he's very strong.
Dawson out with the hamstring injury. He's gone to the last 7 Pro Bowls. Roger Duffy filling in today, as the Steelers are about a half-yard shy. Roger Duffy did start 7 games for Dawson last year, so he has worked with this group. Right. 11th season out of Penn State.
He's there, and then Wayne Gandy, who's playing left. There's Dermontti Dawson, big outdoorman, hunter and fisherman. But then Wayne Gandy, who's playing left tackle, is playing with a bad bicep, so he's a little bit limited too. And like I said, you have to credit these guys. You've got Duffy, the backup. You've got Gandy hurt. Tharp is a backup at the other tackle. They're doing a nice job giving Bettis holes.
3rd down and 1. Stewart over the top.
And he clearly made that first down.
The signal from Dick Hancock, so the Steelers move the chains.
It was interesting talking with head coach Bill Cowher yesterday, and he wants to get a passing game going for his offense. He's happy to win with defense and a run game and the bus, but they want to give themselves that second dimension.
From the 45, Bettis up to midfield, a gain of 5. So a strong first quarter for Jerome Bettis. And the Steelers running attack. Bettis now 38 yards on the ground.
This is exactly what Jerome Bettis likes. I talked to him before the game. He said, I hope I get it 30 times. He had an ankle that bothered him consistently. He was telling me before the game he had it cleaned out in the offseason, and he always worried that cleaning it out wouldn't make it better. He said it's 100%, and it doesn't bother him anymore the way it did before the surgery.
Stewart on 2nd and 6. He took a hit on the safety blitz, and the pass fell incomplete.
Yeah, now that play there, that's something that Cordell Stewart has got to read. Because if you saw, you're going to see, you see this line up here? There's an overload there, and so he doesn't have enough blockers. So he's got to know someone's coming, they're coming quick, and I've got to get rid of this ball. Okay, that's on Cordell Stewart. You got to study, and you got to know Brian Dawkins is coming at me unblocked. Not saying he doesn't study. I'm just saying that's what you got to read. That's on the quarterback.
Empty backfield. Steelers spread it out on 3rd and 6. Stewart's pass picked off. Bobby Taylor brought down inside the 20 by Troy Edwards. 39-yard return. Taylor's 2nd interception of the season. Only the 3rd pick thrown by Cordell Stewart.
Yeah, now before you blame Cordell Stewart for this pass, you have to credit Hugh Douglas, because Hugh Douglas beats Wayne Gandy around the corner, and you're going to watch Douglas come in from the left side of the screen, and he is the one that knocks this pass right into Bobby Taylor's hands. So before anyone starts booing Cordell Stewart in Pittsburgh, you have to realize they're cheering Hugh Douglas in Philly.
Huge defensive play by Douglas. Taylor with the interception. And McNabb's pass was behind the rookie out of Southern Miss, Todd Pinkston. So the Eagles are in the red zone. Steelers have only allowed 3 red zone touchdowns all season long.
Yeah, and they've been fantastic now. Look at that, 22 possessions, only 3. 14% would shatter previously existing red zone records.
And they have not allowed a touchdown period in 5 games. On second down, McNabb takes off. Donovan McNabb inside the 10 to the 8.
Oh, that's a thing of beauty. You know, Donovan McNabb, and I've said this, he is going to be a star quarterback, and he can drop back, and of course he's smart enough to run a West Coast offense. He's as smart as any quarterback I've ever seen. Look how far he's come in just a full season of starting. But he also could be a star runner. He is the best running quarterback I have ever seen. And that includes Steve Young, who I used to have to chase around most of my career.
McNabb leading all quarterbacks this season in rushing. 3rd down and 1 from the Steelers' 8. McNabb looking end zone, looking for the tight end, Chad Lewis. It's 4th down.
You know, that's the weakness, Kenny, of a West Coast offense. When you're relying on your short game for the pass, you know, you're 3rd and inches like that, you want to be able to line up, you know, with 2 backs, you know, have your fullback clear the way, have a runner just power through and pick up a 1st down.
David Akers will attempt a 26-yard field goal. Troy Detmer is the holder. Akers, who won the game in overtime against Dallas last week, gives the Eagles a 3-0 lead. Bobby Taylor with the interception, leading to the first points of the game for the Philadelphia Eagles.
And that's what it's going to take to win this game, Kenny. Big plays, turnovers, long passes. The team that comes away with the most of those is probably going to win.
Kickoff taken by Troy Edwards from the 8-yard line. Edwards still on his feet across the 30. And the kicker, David Akers, got a piece of him, and Akers is down.
No, Akers didn't get a piece of Edwards. Edwards gave Akers a piece. Wow.
Akers slow to get up.
Yeah, I mean, Edwards just lambasted him. He was dodging around there like a water bug, and he saw the kicker coming, and he just put his shoulder down and pounded him.
"25 yards on the return. Steelers go to work from their own 33-yard line. Ennis spinning to the 38. Damon Moore made the tackle.
Well, while the bus is pounding people, watch Edwards here. Check this out. He sees, look at that. He sees the kicker, and he says, wham.
Do you think special teams coach John Harbaugh will show this film on Monday morning back in Philadelphia?
Well, if Akers keeps kicking and makes all his field goals, he'll just fast forward right through it.
On 2nd and 4. Ennis stopped at the 41-yard line by Jeremiah Trotter. 2 yards shy of the first down markers, so it will be 3rd and 2 for the Steelers.
And now what you're seeing with the Eagles defensively, Kenny, is Jim Johnson, the coordinator, has shifted all of his pieces on the board right up to the line of scrimmage. Because what's happening is the Steelers are establishing a tempo where they're controlling the line of scrimmage. And so Jim Johnson is saying, no, I'm going to move all my guys up, and we are going to stop that, and we're going to force Cordell Stewart to revive his passing game if they're going to beat us. See this? See all those guys right there for the run.
3rd down and 2. Stewart's pass incomplete, but a penalty flag. Troy Vincent had the coverage on Hines Ward.
Yeah. Vincent ran right through Hines Ward. And you can play the ball, you can have. Oh my goodness! Well,
it's against Ward.
Yeah. So Ward must have restrained Troy
Pass
Vincent from the
interference.
ball.
Offense, number 86. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Take a look at that. Watch here. Here's Hines Ward, 86. Oh, there it is. There's the pass interference when he blocks him before the play. But afterwards, had that block not occurred, then it would have been against Vincent.
third punt of the first quarter by Josh Miller, and a fair catch at the 21-yard line by Brian Mitchell. 38 yards on the punt. So the Eagles, with a 3-0 lead, will go back to work late in this first quarter. Coming up next, it's the second half of our Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader. Most of you will see the Rams without Kurt Warner and Marshall Faulk as they take on the Giants at the Meadowlands. Some of you will see the Green Bay Packers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we want to call special attention to those of you here in Pittsburgh who will get bonus coverage of the Rams and the Giants.
Right, and one thing you have to realize, even though the Rams don't have Kurt Warner, Trent Green is just as effective as a passer. And as they said on the pregame show, the Rams are going to spread it out and open up that passing game.
McNabb's pass caught by the tight end, Chad Lewis. A gain of 5 yards out to the 27 as the clock winds down. And that will do it for the first quarter from Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh. Back in Pittsburgh, Eagles leading 3-0. The only points coming off the only turnover of the game.
Well, that's right. The only real big play, and it's pretty much what we expected. Coming down to a field goal so far. But watch for Donovan McNabb to take a deep shot. So far, the Steelers secondary has not given him an open receiver downfield.
2nd and 5 for the Eagles from the 27. And a late flag. Flag on the play. And it should be the second pass interference call against the Steelers.
Pass interference.
First one on the defense.
Defense, number 30.
And this was
First
the
down.
shot they wanted to take. Donovan McNabb does a nice job. He gives the pump fake, and that holds Scott, and Scott holds Torrance Small. So that was going to be the Eagles' deep shot, the pump fake and the go route to Torrance Small. And I tell you what, I think if Scott didn't hold him, the Eagles might have had something.
3 Steelers penalties already. They average only 5 per game. On first down, McNabb's pass broken up. Chad Scott got a piece of it. McNabb on second down again. Chad Scott breaks up the pass intended for Torrance Small.
Yeah, and Chad Scott is doing a real solid job of coverage. Now, he did have that one pass interference play, but watch how he positions himself with Torrance Small. He reads that break, and he comes right up. That's nice right there.
Scott in his 4th season out of Maryland. First-round pick back in '97.
And he and Dwayne Washington on the other side. These guys are a solid tandem of corners, and they tackle well in the run game.
3 wide receivers on 3rd and 10. Penalty marker as McNabb's pass sailed through the hands of Todd Kingston. Another penalty flag in the secondary.
And I don't know if that's not going to be against Scott as well.
It is against the Steelers.
Personal foul. Illegal roughness. Defense, number 26. Blow to the face. 15 yards. First down.
Deshae Townsend called for the personal foul. So 2 penalties have kept this drive alive for the Eagles.
Well, he's right here guarding the slot. So watch him. We'll have to watch for his hands going to Charles Johnson's face. And there it is right there. The jam to the face. You can jam a guy, but you can't jam him to the face.
So the Eagles in Steelers territory from the 46. Autry looks to bounce it outside, but is met head on by the strong safety Lee Flowers.
And that's just what Lee Flowers loves. He is aggressive, he is brazen, and when he has an opportunity to bring it, he is going to bring it. He sees an opportunity here. He sees Autry off base a little bit, and he just runs right through it. You know, Flowers, the thing I like about him is if he doesn't have a clear shot, he'll just come up and make a solid tackle. But if he sees you off base, he is going to bring the wood.
2nd and 10 from the 46. McNabb pump fakes, looks downfield, instead dumps it off, and it deflects off the fingertips of Autry. Jason Gilden on the coverage for the Steelers, who have now gone 21 consecutive quarters, including the first quarter here today, without allowing a touchdown.
Kenny, this is good coverage everywhere. You see right here, you see Scott. He's got the coverage. He doesn't bite on the first move by Torrance Small on one side. And I watched Dwayne Washington here on the other side against Charles Johnson. He doesn't bite on the move either. So Donovan McNabb would like to throw downfield, but the Steelers secondary is giving him zero opportunity.
4 wide receivers, empty backfield, and a diving catch. Charles Johnson will have to wait and see where the officials spot the football. The former Steeler Johnson made the diving reception close to the first down marker.
And this is going to be one. I'll be surprised if Andy Reid doesn't go for it, because he has coached aggressively all season. He's gone for those fourth down things. He's run the onside kick, first kickoff of the season. He's run the fake punts.
And the Eagles will go for it on fourth down.
Yep. Question is, will they try to run or try to pass like they did on the last short yardage conversion?
McNabb looking to throw, and he has the first down to the fullback, Cecil Martin.
Well, this is the West Coast offense at its best. Remember earlier when they were down in the red zone and they had a 3rd and short and they tried a pass play and it didn't work? Well, this time Andy Reid goes right back to what he believes in, which is it's a throwing game. So if you need short yardage, you're going to go to a short pass.
From the Steelers 28, Darnell Autry. Bottled up by Earl Holmes.
He's what's making that Saints offense go. He's opening up the play-action passes.
Another flag, Chad Scott on the coverage. And a penalty marker back along the goal line.
I'm not going to say anything because both of the penalties downfield by DBs I've been wrong about. Well, I don't see a penalty there.
Pass interference. Defense, number 30. First down.
Boy, the only thing I could see that the official saw was an arm bar where he barred Johnson with that right arm and that right hand. But that you got to let these guys play. You got to let them mix it up a little bit. There's going to be some push and shove. You see that arm right there? I mean, that's the only thing I can think. But it didn't look to me like that right arm really hindered Charles Johnson.
A 26-yard penalty. Eagles have gained 53 yards on 3 penalties this drive. First and goal from the 2. Quick drop, McNabb looking corner of the end zone. Incomplete, intended for Torrance Small. Dwayne Washington on the coverage.
You know, most defenses, when they get down to this situation, they worry. They're nervous. They're looking around. Their eyes get as big as oranges, and they're thinking, oh, how do we keep them out? This group of guys right here, this is where they thrive. They love being in the red zone, and they are proud of their performance in the red zone so far. 21 quarters now without giving up a touchdown in this area.
Second and goal. McNabb's pass is short. He was looking for Autry.
Wow. This is why they like it. Here comes the blitz. A risky call. All the linebackers are coming. There's Joey Porter. Jason Gilden's the guy who gets to him. But they are all coming, and they're coming hard and fast on Donovan McNabb.
Are you surprised at all the Eagles tried to throw on first and second down?
No, because it's what I said before. I mean, they're a throwing offense. It's a West Coast offense. So that's their bread and butter.
On third and goal, McNabb stumbled, now throws, touchdown to the tight end, Jeff Thomason. And the Steelers have allowed a touchdown for the first time in over 5 games, they had not allowed a touchdown in 21 quarters.
And that's why the Eagles throw. I mean, it gave them 3 shots. The Steelers D held on the first 2, but Thomason snuck behind the whole troop.
Steelers had not allowed a touchdown on 61 consecutive drives by their opponents. Akers with the point after. Back in Pittsburgh, Eagles leading the Steelers 10-0. And Poteet. Big return up to the 39-yard line. Jason Bostic finally made the tackle, a 26-yard return by the rookie Hank Poteet.
Well, Kenny Thomason is right here, and he's just going to show like he's a blocker. And then he's right here, and he's going to sneak out. So he throws the block on Lee Flowers like he's blocking, like it's a run play, and then he sneaks right behind him to catch the pass.
Steelers start from their own 39-yard line. Off the play fake to Bettis. Cordell Stewart airing it out. No flags. Troy Vincent had the coverage on Troy Edwards. Edwards wanted a flag. So did the fans.
Well, Troy Vincent just had body position. But I'll tell you, on that play before when the Eagles drew a pass interference call against Chad Scott, I really have to wonder. This is what sets up the Eagles' touchdown. No, that's the play we just ran.
Now 2nd and 10 from the 39. Bettis gains 2 yards up to the 41. Jeremiah Trotter made the stop. 3rd and 8 coming up.
Here's Chad Scott and the pass interference penalty. Charles Johnson back and forth. You see the push in the hands back and forth. I just don't see it. And Bill Cowher was just livid during the commercial break.
4 defensive penalties committed by the Steelers today. The most in any game this season. Stewart on 3rd down, nearly picked off again. This time by Troy Vincent.
You know, Kenny, one of the things that the Steelers passing game has struggled with is timing between Stewart and his receivers. They haven't had timing, and sometimes the receivers have dropped balls, and sometimes they've been open, and Stewart hasn't seen them, or sometimes he's seen them and his passing hasn't been accurate. So they've not been able to get the passing game going. And today, Stewart right now is 3 for 10, 15 yards and an interception.
5 consecutive incompletions thrown by Stewart. Ryan Mitchell from the 17. Mitchell down the sidelines, across the 40 to the 42. Eagles leading the Steelers 10-0. Steelers committed 3 defensive penalties during the Eagles' last drive, and leading to the touchdown.
The Eagles have gone downfield with the passing game, and they haven't gotten completions in it, but they've gotten penalties in it.
Nice play, Levon Kirkland on 1st down, wrapping up Darnell Autry.
And now this defense right here, right now, is offended. They are offended that they have not beaten the record, which was 22 quarters without giving up a touchdown by the old steel curtain. And they're offended because it came on a questionable pass interference penalty against Chad Scott.
Loss of 1 on the previous play. 2nd and 11. McNabb to Autry. Spins across the 45 to the 47. Eagles looking at a 3rd and about 4. Steelers defense probably feels, hey, we didn't give up the touchdown, the officials did.
Right, I'm sure they do, but what they have to do now is they got to make sure that they play their game. You don't want to get out of your game. You don't want to get so heated and so intense and excited that you forget to play fundamental football. That's what makes this defense so good. They tackle well, and they're always in good position.
3rd down and 4. McNabb fires. The pass is caught by the tight end Chad Lewis. He was forced back. We'll see where the officials spot the ball. He looked to make the catch right at midfield, but was stopped a yard shy of the first down, so Sean Landeta will punt for the third time today.
That was just a nice play by Joey Porter, who had the coverage. And actually, the Steelers had Chad Lewis bracketed. Had Porter on one side and Kirkland on the other.
Landeta's punt bounces into the end zone for a touchback. A 50-yard kick. Kenny Albert, Tim Green back in Pittsburgh. Eagles leading the Steelers 10-0. And for the Steelers offense, Tim, they've picked up only 3 first downs. They've punted 4 times and committed a turnover.
And the only thing they've been able to do with any consistency is run Jerome Bettis. And that's what I would do. I would just keep running him and run him until he can't run no more.
Bettis with 46 of the Steelers' 61 yards of offense. He gains 3 on the first down carry, setting up 2nd and 7.
You know, the difficult thing for the Pittsburgh Steelers is you can win a game with defense and just a running game if your offense, or if your own defense holds down the points. But right now, Bill Cowher, you're down 10. And so now you have to get that offense going. And either the bus is going to have to carry the whole load, or they're going to have to start completing a couple passes.
Stewart on 2nd and 7. Incomplete. It bounced off Burris. And a penalty marker comes in.
Yeah, he's going to, because it's a helmet-to-helmet hit on a defenseless receiver. So the Steelers are going to get themselves a first down. But again, this is the kind of thing that Plaxico Burris has got to do. He's got to make this play. He's going to break it right to the inside. The pass is going to be there. All right?
Personal foul.
He just
unnecessary roughness defense, number 54. Blow to a defenseless player, 15 yards. First down.
Yeah, Jeremiah Trotter just uncorks on him, and he can clearly see that the ball is gone. So that's a penalty that you got to call. You know, Trotter is a physical, intense guy, but you got to pull back. Those are the rules.
15-yard penalty, setting up 1st and 10. Steelers from their own 38-yard line, trailing the Eagles 10-0. Stewart to the air on first down. The pass is caught by Courtney Hawkins, but it pops loose. And Hawkins was ruled down on the 45. He was ruled down by contact, says the umpire Carl Madsen. Madsen, number 92, indicates Hawkins was down.
The ruling on the field was a completed catch, forward progress. Ball came out as he was being driven back. First down.
For Courtney Hawkins, only his 2nd catch of the year. So after Burris could not come up with a couple of receptions, Stewart looks towards Hawkins.
I don't know about forward progress. I mean, it looked like he was going sideways from the hit, and they ripped the ball out. Whoa.
And a big gain by the bus. Jerome Bettis close to another. Steelers first down to the Eagles 35.
You know, Jerome Bettis, you can see the intensity. He's fired. He's the kind of guy that has the skills and the ability to take over a game. And what you saw in that last run, you saw the quickness that he hit the hole with, and then you saw him absolutely punish the defensive back downfield.
Officially 9 yards on the carry. 59 yards today for Bettis. Make it 61 as he picks up the first down. Steelers moving the chains. Steelers coming in allow only 10.3 points per game. They've already given up 10 today. First field goal following the interception. And then penalties setting up the Eagles' touchdown.
You know, I think this Steelers offense, Kenny, might be getting a rhythm here. because Bettis is running, and then the last two passes, Cordell Stewart's been on and the timing's been on. Now, Burris dropped one of them, but then Hawkins caught the other. The timing is there all of a sudden.
Stewart under pressure. And he's wrapped up back at the 36-yard line. Carlos Emmons with the initial pressure, and then Barry Gardner forced him out of bounds.
You know, one thing about Cordell Stewart, when he is chased out of the pocket, he typically, very rarely will he set up and throw the ball. So as a defense, as soon as you see him starting to escape, you can drop your coverage. And that's what happens here. The linebackers, Gardner, he can drop his coverage and go right to the quarterback, because you know Cordell Stewart doesn't pull it down and throw. He pulls it down and he runs.
Gardner credited with his first sack of the season. 2nd and 14. 3 wide receivers. Stewart, the shovel pass to Jerome Bettis. Bettis down to the 29. Jeremiah Trotter again made the tackle, a gain of 8 yards for Jerome Bettis. We spoke to Trotter last night. You asked him, how do you stop Bettis? He said, we have to flatten his tires, flatten the bus's tires.
Yeah, nobody flattened him here. And it's, again, this is a timing play. So we're seeing a little bit of a timing element starting to come into the Steelers' offense. You know, is it exciting? Is it dazzling? No, but guess what? It's something, because it's working and they're moving the ball.
Bettis out of the game on 3rd down. 3rd and 6. Stewart to the near side, caught by Hines Ward. He was wide open, and he has a first down. A gain of 14 yards from Stewart to Ward.
This is just a breakdown in the Eagles' coverage, but again, the timing is there. I mean, Stewart got the protection he needed from his offensive line. They ran the correct pattern. Ward come here, he breaks to the outside receiver runs off the coverage right there. It's a good pass play.
From the Eagles 15, Bettis. Taken down at the line of scrimmage by Paul Grassmanis.
You know, one thing, if I was going to run against this Eagles defense, I wouldn't run at Hugh Douglas, because even though he leads the NFL in sacks, I mean, he is having an incredible year. He is so powerful in his hips and his legs, and he does a great job of controlling the offensive lineman on the run as well as on the pass.
He has 13 sacks this season. Stewart out of the shotgun, 2nd and 10. Stewart to the near side, a penalty marker. The pass is caught by Hines Ward. He was down at the 4, and a penalty flag on the play, a gain of 11. And another Steelers first down. But it will be brought back. It's against Pittsburgh.
Pass interference, offense, number 86, 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down.
That's the second
down.
offensive pass interference today. So the Steelers have been called for pass interference 4 times, twice on offense, twice on defense.
Yeah, here he is right here. Let's take a look at it. Yeah, that's what they're calling. He threw a block on Troy Vincent and knocked him off. I mean, that, you know, you may not like it, but that is a textbook case of offensive pass interference. You run down the field, you know, you blast the DB and you come off and make the catch.
It sets the Steelers back 10 yards to the 25. 2nd and 20. Everybody out. The pass deflected. Incomplete. Batted at the line. So it will be 3rd and 20. Bobby Taylor, the right cornerback, got a piece of it.
And I think that play there was a good call by Jim Johnson, because Stewart is starting to establish a rhythm in his passing game, and he was doing it because he had time. So this time they blitz the cornerback, Bobby Taylor, and Stewart is forced to rush his pass. And then I don't know who it was that got that. tip that pass. Looked like one of the inside guys.
So now 3rd and 20. Steelers trailing 10-0. Penalty flags. Pass nearly intercepted by Corey Simon.
And he almost had himself a touchdown.
It's been a penalty-filled first half.
Corey Simon did a great job of reading that play and putting himself in position
Offside.
for an interception.
Defense, number 59, moved into the neutral zone prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down. 3rd down.
Mike Mamula.
You know, Corey Simon, who's got 6.5 sacks, he is a viable candidate for Rookie of the Year, especially Defensive Rookie of the Year. And you can see on that play there, he not only is he strong and powerful, he can rush the passer, play the run, he's smart because he read that pass and he went right to the ball.
Now 3rd and 15 from the 20-yard line. Play clock winding down. 4 wide receivers. Pass intended for Courtney Hawkins, but the timing was off.
Well, remember on the pregame show, Terry Bradshaw and Irving Fryer, and they were talking about the synchronization between a quarterback and a receiver and how both of them have to read the same thing. Well, that time Cordell Stewart read the blitz. He read it hot, and the receiver, Courtney Hawkins, didn't read it. Watch it here. He's just got to break off this pattern, and it's a catch and a 1st down.
38-yard field goal attempt for Chris Brown. It is good. He has now hit 12 in a row. Ryan Mitchell from the 15-yard line. Mitchell still on his feet to the 47. And with that return, Ryan Mitchell is now the NFL's all-time record holder in career kickoff return yardage. A 32-yard return. He surpasses Mel Gray's career record. He became the NFL's all-time punt return leader 2 weeks ago against the Giants. 32-yard return by Mitchell gives the Eagles terrific field position at their own 47-yard line. Leading the Steelers 10-3. McNabb to the air on 1st down. And the pass incomplete. Intended for the tight end Chad Lewis. Chad Scott, Lee Flowers on the coverage. So Brian Mitchell, one of the great all-time return men in NFL history, spent his first 10 seasons with the Washington Redskins. Let go, and the Redskins brought in Deion Sanders during the offseason. And he is now the NFL's all-time leader in both punt and kickoff return yardage. Second and 10. Pass is caught by Torrance Small. Out of bounds at midfield and a penalty flag. Did Dwayne Washington inadvertently grab a face mask?
Well, whatever it is, the Eagles have gotten more yardage from penalties on their offense.
There is no grasp of the face mask. The hand went across the face mask.
All right.
3rd down.
So the flag comes up, but the Eagles have gotten 68 yards in penalties. On the ground today, they've only got 31, and passing only 65. So most of what they've done offensively today and their 10 points have been a result of penalties against the Steelers.
Especially during that touchdown drive. Third down and 6. McNabb with time, could not find anyone. Terrific coverage. And McNabb was taken down by Kimo von Oelhoffen and Chris Sullivan. A loss of 3, and the Eagles will punt.
And this is great lane discipline. Watch how the Steelers front guys rush. If we stop this thing, you look right there. Remember, McNabb likes to run up the middle. There's von Oelhoffen right there waiting. So great discipline by the Steelers pass rush.
As the Eagles set up for the punt, we hit the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to go, second quarter from Pittsburgh. Eagles leading the Steelers by a 10-3 score. Steelers allowed a touchdown for the first time in over 21 quarters. And now Sean Landeta will punt back at his own 34-yard line. Courtney Hawkins from the 10. Nowhere to go. Penalty flag on the field. 42-yard punt. Gerard Cherry downfield on special teams along with Jeff Thomason. The officials again will conference, and it's holding against the Steelers.
Holding on the receiving team, number 30, while the ball was in the air. We'll penalize from the spot of possession. First down.
It's Chad Scott's third penalty today. 2 pass interference and now a holding on the punt return. Well, coming up on the Visa halftime report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris, along with Irving Fryer, will have scores and highlights from around the NFL. And our Fox Sports ticker will have up to the second stats. That's all coming up on the Visa halftime report.
And I loved Terry Bradshaw's interview with Donovan McNabb at the pregame show was outstanding. And I loved the question that he asked about Donovan McNabb's skin color and the quarterback position. And McNabb's response was very honest. He said he felt people didn't think he was smart enough to play that position.
First down, Richard Huntley on his first carry of the game, giving Jerome Bettis a rest, and Huntley gains 13 yards.
And now the Steelers offense has got enough room to go into the 2-minute. And now they can try to throw the ball downfield and get some points before halftime.
They have all 3 of their timeouts. Stewart on first down, a diving catch by the tight end. Oh, incomplete. Mark Bruner trapped it. Bruner, the tight end, could not come up with the catch, so it'll be 2nd and 10.
Yeah, that's an unusual occurrence. I mean, Mark Bruner is known for having really good hands. And that ball rolled. I don't know. I'm surprised the replay official didn't take a look at that.
We are under 2 minutes, so the coaches cannot challenge. It's up to the replay officials up in the replay booth. 3 wide receivers. Steelers spreading the field on 2nd and 10. Stewart's pass is caught by a wide open Troy Edwards at the 37.
Nicely done.
1 minute remaining in the first half. Bill Cowher, Steelers on the move. Line of scrimmage now their own 36.
And a nice job between Troy Edwards and Cordell Stewart. Stewart read the zone perfectly. Edwards read the zone perfectly. He slipped in the soft spot between the underneath coverage and over top. Stewart had the ball there.
Steelers have 2 timeouts left. 3 wide receivers on first down. Stewart looks to throw, and the pass is caught in Eagles territory by Bobby Shaw. His first catch of the game, a gain of 26 yards. And the Steelers call another timeout and stop it. Steelers moving the football with 49 seconds to go in the first half. They now have it on the 39.
Yeah, Kenny, 2 things are happening here. Cordell Stewart is getting time from his offensive line, and he's also seeing the field. He's seeing the entire field now, and he's delivering the ball. This is as good a run as I've seen from Cordell Stewart.
He's gone to 7 different receivers in this first half. Make it 8. Richard Huntley down to the 33-yard line.
Well, that was nice defense by the Eagles.
An injured Steeler.
They read that screen pass, and they absolutely destroyed it with their speed.
Right guard Rich Tilsky is shaken up. And the Steelers charged with their final timeout of the half. So with 37 seconds remaining, Eagles trailing by a touchdown on the move. Number 61, Tom Myszlinski, a veteran of 7 NFL teams in 9 years.
And Myszlinski is a guy who grew up in the game of football. His dad is actually one of the great high school coaches in upstate New York, in Rome, New York. My arch rival in high school, Rome Free Academy.
Did you win the game? Against Coach Myszlinski?
I was never part of a team that was able to beat Coach Myszlinski's team. Nope. I'm sorry to say.
So now Tom Myszlinski, who's played with Dallas, Washington, Buffalo, Chicago, Jacksonville, Indianapolis, and the Steelers, checks in at right guard. 2nd and 5. Stewart's pass deflected by Mike Caldwell, nearly intercepted.
Well, Cordell Stewart got one on that. When we've been talking about how well he's been reading defenses and seeing the field, he delivered that right to Caldwell. And I'm surprised in this situation, he knows it, but I'm surprised in this situation that they were trying to force the ball to Plaxico Burress. Because Burress really hasn't done anything today except drop the ball and not come up with it.
3 wide receivers for the Steelers. 3rd down and 5. Stewart's pass incomplete, intended for Burress. Steelers wanted a flag on the play. So Bill Cowher sends out the field goal unit with 28 seconds on the clock in this 2nd quarter.
Yeah, and did you see Burress looking back? And I don't know if that was a catchable ball, and that may be why there was a penalty. But Burress is looking at Troy Vincent. You can't look at the defensive back. You got to just run your pattern and catch the football.
52-yard attempt. Chris Brown's career long is 51. And penalty markers. They'll line it up again. I think the Steelers had too many men on the field. The officials underneath the goalpost never signaled whether or not the kick was good. They were counting players. Well, it's the Eagles who had too many men on the field, so they'll give the Steelers
I think we've talked a lot about Plaxico Burress. I think this is a guy who's got a lot of talent, and I think he's going to be a talented player in the NFL because he's got a big body and he's young. I mean, and when you're young at any position in the NFL, it takes time to learn the nuances of the game. And also, I think if you look at his numbers compared to other first-round draft picks receivers, he's right up there. He's as good as any of them.
Burress selected 8th overall out of Michigan State. Short kickoff is taken up to the 37-yard line by Jeff Thomason. Now 17 seconds remaining in the first half. 10-6 lead for the Eagles. The only touchdown, a 2-yard pass from Donovan McNabb to tight end Jeff Thomason. The first touchdown allowed by the Steelers in over 21 consecutive quarters. Coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris with scores and highlights from around the league. And the Fox Sports ticker will have up to the second stats. Eagles will run out the clock and take their 4-point lead into the locker room. As we take a look at the first half numbers.
And you see most of this right here, this 98 yards passing for the Steelers, was during that 2-minute drill where, Kenny, I thought Cordell Stewart really started to get into a rhythm. I thought he was seeing the field well and delivering the ball downfield well. They're going to need to do more of that and get that bus rolling against this Eagles defense.
Steelers committed 6 first-half penalties. They did win the time of possession battle. And Chris Brown kicks off to begin the second half. Brian Mitchell from the 7-yard line. The return 132 yards earlier. He's upended at the 24. Amos Zaraway, the backup running back, sending Mitchell airborne after a return of 18 yards.
This thing looks like it was choreographed. You wouldn't see a hit that good in a movie. Look at that. He just comes up right up underneath him, and he knew how good it was. He came out of the hit with both hands in the air. Watch this here. He just comes up and lifts him. That's pretty nice. He had his hands up in the air before Mitchell hit the ground.
Zaraway, native of Hempstead, Long Island, and the University of West Virginia, with the special teams tackle. McNabb to the air on first down, and the pass incomplete. Intended for Charles Johnson. Eagles wide receivers, only 3 receptions in the first half. Johnson with 2 and Small with the other.
Well, I'll tell you, Jason Gilden is the guy that breaks this up behind the line of scrimmage. Now, Darnell Autry is blocking him. You can't see it outside there, but you see he comes past Autry pretty quick and gets immediate pressure on McNabb.
McNabb on 2nd and 10. Autry wide open. First down and more. Out to the 45-yard line. A gain of 20. Chad Scott finally forced him out of bounds.
Well, Kenny, we said right from the beginning that this is what the Eagles have. You know, whenever you get to this point in the season and both teams are trying to find their way into the playoffs, you say, well, what do we know that we can count on? And we've said it from the beginning, the Eagles can count on this underneath passing game to the tight ends and wide receivers.
They keep it on the ground on first down with Autry.
Wow.
Lee Flowers made the tackle.
Well, that's one thing they haven't had is a run game. And, you know, even though the Eagles are still number 2 and they've got 5 yards of carry in the run game, you know, most of that is Donovan McNabb. He's got 7.4 yards. And the rest of those running backs, if you eliminate Deuce Staley's numbers, are only at about 2.5 yards of carry.
And McNabb is the Eagles' leading rusher today with 14 yards on the ground. McNabb on 2nd down finds his man. It's Cecil Martin, the fullback. Big gain down the sidelines for another Eagles first down, a gain of 25 yards.
Remember what Andy Reid said to us yesterday, Ken? He said Donovan in this game has to look for the touchdown and then the check down. So if the big play's not there, we're going to go to the check down. And Cecil Martin does an outstanding job running. And there you see Charles Johnson blocking one of his old teammates to spring Martin for another 10 yards.
Johnson, a terrific blocking wide receiver. From the 27, off the play fake to Darnell Autry. McNabb fires down to the 18-yard line, and it's incomplete. Jeff Thomason, the intended receiver, he has the game's only touchdown.
Well, you see what's happening, and the Eagles are going back to what's worked for them, and that's passing to the to the tight ends and the running backs. That's what they do, and I'll tell you the difference between this drive here and the first half is in the first half, the Steelers linebackers covered these guys much better than they're doing right now. They're going to have to get back to that underneath coverage.
McNabb on 2nd and 10. Looking end zone, looking, Charles Johnson broken up. Another flag. It was Chad Scott again on the coverage, called for pass interference twice in the first half. And perhaps a third time right here.
Well, remember earlier I was saying that you can't run through the guy to catch the ball. You have the right to play the ball, and that's what Scott was doing. But if this goes against him, it's going to be because he went through the receiver.
There is no defensive pass interference on the play.
I think what's been going on here might have gotten to the officials.
Was Scott going for the ball?
You know, he was going for the ball. That was a close one. So I think the officiating staff owed him one. And Andy Reid saying, hey, wait a minute, you can go for the ball but you can't drive through the receiver. But I don't know how you throw the flag and then the flag gets picked up. But it's okay. Like I said, the officiating staff, they owed Chad Scott one, because he got called for one earlier in the game that gave the Eagles their only touchdown that, in my opinion, should not have been pass interference.
So 3rd and 10 from the Steelers' 28. And McNabb's pass was short. Looking for the tight end, John Lewis. Jason Simmons on the coverage.
Pretty good pressure by the Steelers defensive line. Again, they're rushing here, as you see Kimo von Oelhoffen. They're rushing under control. And it's Jason Gilden who gets the hit on Donovan McNabb. But those guys did a nice job of staying in their lanes and not allowing. Donovan McNabb has not been scrambling much today.
And a 45-yard field goal attempt. David Akers with Coy Detmer holding. Akers is now 2 for 2. Back at Three Rivers Stadium, Kenny Albert with Tim Green. Eagles leading the Steelers 13-6. Short kickoff by Akers. Poteet from the 14-yard line. Cutting to his right. Across the 25, a 12-yard return. Mike Caldwell, the special teams captain, made the tackle for the Eagles.
Well, Kenny, Cordell Stewart's going to get his opportunity to run an offense. But if you look at both these quarterbacks, neither one having very impressive numbers. But so far, the difference in today's game has been this right here. When Donovan McNabb had the opportunity to score a touchdown, he did. And then Cordell Stewart with that one interception there that led to the Eagles' first field goal.
Steelers start from their own 26-yard line. Jerome Bettis, who gained 61 yards on the ground in the first half, tackled by Corey Simon after a gain of just 1.
And that defensive play right there is an indication of what Andy Reid said to these guys in the locker room at halftime. I'm sure he said, look, they're going to come out and try to run Jerome Bettis, and we must stop that and force them into a passing game.
On 2nd and 9, off the play fake to Bettis. Stewart looking for Courtney Hawkins.
My goodness. Brian Dawkins fell down on the coverage. And Courtney could not have been more wide open on that. Look at that. I mean, just a little bit of timing between Cordell Stewart and Hawkins, and that would have been a touchdown. Brian Dawkins fell right to the turf.
Instead, it's 3rd down and 9 following the incompletion. Stewart calls timeout.
The Steelers' offense has struggled this season on 3rd down conversions, but strangely enough, when Cordell Stewart is in a 3rd and 9+ situation, he's 50%. That is the best of any quarterback in the National Football League. So this is statistically where Cordell Stewart is at his best.
It is 3rd and 9 from the 27-yard line. Stewart out of the shotgun with 3 wideouts. Stewart with time, and the pass is caught by Courtney Hawkins. Close to the 1st down marker.
This was again an example, Kenny, of Cordell Stewart seeing the field, reading the defense, making an adjustment, and then completing a pass. You're going to see him. He sees this blitz here. He brings Hines Ward back here to pick. See that? See him point right there? He sees it, and now Huntley's going to pick up the blitz, and now he's got time to complete this pass. So that was a 1st down by Cordell Stewart using his brain.
A 1st down at the 37-yard line.
this Eagles defense is one of the hardest defenses in the league to read. So that's no small feat on third down to read it and to beat it.
Jerome Bettis up the middle to the 40. A gain of 3. Corey Simon made the tackle for the Eagles. Simon looking forward to his upcoming March wedding down at Disney World.
Yeah, that's right. What a great place. What a pleasant young man. I mean, you hear about all these things. This guy really epitomizes what I think most guys in the NFL are like. Just a heck of a player on the field and a powerful guy and a force, but a gentleman often.
2nd and 7. Stewart's pass was deflected and then caught by Hawkins, who's become the go-to receiver.
We'll see if it's another offensive pass interference. We've seen a bunch of them.
Ball's deflected, so that eliminates any pass interference calls, right?
Right.
Pass was deflected by Dawkins.
Defense, number
this
23.
time he given on Vincent. But we've seen a lot of pass interference penalties by the Steelers offensively today. There's Vincent with the coverage right here. That was a little bit of a push-off by Hawkins. As you said, it's irrelevant either way. But again, Cordell Stewart on that pass, Kenny. Brian Dawkins was in his face. So he's got this blitz down. He's reading it and he's beating it. Here it comes again. Oh, fake.
From the 48, off the play fake to Bettis. Stewart could not find anyone. He takes off. He has the first down and more. Down to the Eagles. 31. 17-yard scramble by Cordell Stewart.
And now the athleticism of Cordell Stewart has an impact here. So the Eagles fake the blitz. Cordell Stewart looks for the pass. There's too much coverage downfield. They backed off the blitz. Then Stewart just takes advantage of them by running. Again, this is the prototype of quarterbacks in the NFL now. This is the new breed. They can run as well as throw.
There's Bettis, forcing his way down to the 26-yard line. A gain of 5. You get the feeling Terry was being facetious?
I don't know. Well, he said he's only got one more year to live, according to the averages.
That's right, he's 52. Or the average age, he said, of a player who spent 10 years in the NFL was 52.
Yeah, so he said he's only got one more year. Why not come back and try to... I'm sure they would embrace him here. But Cordell Stewart on this drive here, and that was the first kind of misconnect or disconnect between him and Courtney Hawkins we've seen. I mean, the reason why the Steelers have moved the ball down the field on this drive really has been Cordell Stewart reading the defenses and making the correct passes.
We're down at 5. Play clock winding down. And they can't get the snap away. A delay of game against the Steelers.
Well, it's just as well for Pittsburgh because they they weren't in sync on that.
Offense. 5 yards. Still third down.
You talked about their passing game, which has struggled in recent weeks. And Courtney Hawkins, who had only one catch all season coming into the game today, has become Stewart's go-to guy. He leads the team in today's game with 3 receptions.
Well, I think, and again, not to ride on Plaxico Burress, but I think we saw when they did their 2-minute drill before half, they tried to get the ball to Burress, and he didn't have numbers like this. I mean, Hawkins had, 3 catches, 7 thrown to him. I think Burress had 5 thrown to him and only 1 catch.
So following the penalty, 3rd and 10 from the 31. Stewart under pressure, and Mike Mamula takes him down.
Hey, that's just a nice pass rush by Mike Mamula. It's a one-on-one situation. He is just going to race right around Larry Tharp. He gets his pads lower. He rips up around the outside. Here he is right here on the edge. Watch him. Comes down underneath, rips up through, beats Tharp around the edge, and hangs on.
And the sack takes the Steelers out of field goal range.
Very, very big defensive play.
Chris Brown hit from 52 earlier. This would have been a 55-yard attempt, so instead Bill Cowher sends out his punter, Josh Miller. Brian Mitchell waiting. Back at the 10.
Be a good spot for a fake.
Miller kicks it away. End over end. Mitchell lets it bounce. And it takes an Eagles bounce into the end zone for a touchback. 8:45 remaining, third quarter. Eagles leading by a touchdown. And they start from their own 20-yard line. McNabb's pass batted down by Jason Gilden.
It's a nice job by Gilden of reading the steps of the quarterback. He saw McNabb set up almost instantly, and instead of continuing the pass rush, he jumped up. Eagles now 31 passes, only 10 runs.
Two tight ends. Second and 10. Pass off the fingertips of Torrance Small. Thanks, JB. Saints looking for their 6th consecutive victory. Here's McNabb on 3rd and 10. He dumps it off. Stanley Pritchett is gang tackled by the Steelers. A loss of 7 yards on the play. And now the Eagles will punt it away.
Kenny, this is the epitome of the Steelers defense. Watch them swarm to this play. Watch the reaction. Now there's Kirkland. He reads it. Now here they come.
Landetta punting out of his own end zone. Good kick. Poteet all the way back at the 37. Poteet, 8-yard return. Sunny and cool here in Pittsburgh, where the Steelers trail the Eagles 13-6, and the Steelers have their best starting field position of today's game from their own 44-yard line. The handoff to Jerome Bettis down to the 49, a gain of 5 on first down.
So the Steelers' offense, Kenny, all of a sudden, they're looking pretty good. I mean, they're getting some things going, and they started out the game with 4 punts and an interception. But in the second half here, we've seen them get a little bit of a rhythm going.
Courtney Hawkins and Troy Edwards are the wide receivers. And the play is blown dead.
False start. Offense. Number 87. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
That's the tight end, Mark Bruner.
Here he is up here.
And Tim right guard Rich Tilsky has returned. He was shaken up late in the second quarter, replaced by Tom Mishlinski, but Tilsky is back. Second and 11 following the penalty. 3 wide receivers set. Stewart out of the shotgun. The draw to Bettis. Oh, what a hit. At the 45-yard line by Brian Dawkins.
That is a real nice hit on the big man. I'll tell you, the guy that really made this play happen was Hollis Thomas. Hollis Thomas at the tackle position, he made Bettis step to the outside. Bettis got his shoulder turned, and when he did, Dawkins attacked.
Dawkins gives about 50 pounds to the bus. Third down and 9 from the 45. Stewart under pressure, and he is taken down by Brandon Whiting, who had a huge game last week against Dallas. So Whiting with the sack, forcing another Steelers punt.
And Whiting does an outstanding job of just shifting his weight and coming free right up the center. And Corey Simon was there as well. But he went right by Faneca.
On number 6 today by Josh Miller. Good kick. Mitchell back at the 12-yard line. Out of bounds at the 23. Giants 7-2. They've beaten the Eagles twice this year as the pass pops away from Torrance Small.
And this is, I really like Donovan McNabb, not just the way he throws and runs. You see him there, he's smiling, he's not upset. I mean, he knows that Torrance Small's got to hang on to that football. And his receivers at times this year have let him down, and he knows it, but he doesn't chastise him. He's a positive guy, he's a positive energy guy, and he's going to be a great leader as well as a great quarterback.
3 wide receivers, 2nd and 10. McNabb's pass broken up by Levon Kirkland. Third and 10. McNabb's pass dropped by the tight end, Chad Lewis. He would have had a first down.
Boy, the Steelers had a broken coverage on that, too. They're supposed to be bracketing Chad Lewis. The bracket came off him, and he slipped wide open. Look at that. No one even close to Lewis.
Sean Landetta inside his 10. Hank Poteet in single safety for the Steelers. Poteet from the 34 is forced back, a loss of 2 yards. On the return, terrific special teams coverage by the Eagles, led by Rashard Cook. Well, it's been a game of field position. A turnover led to the Eagles' first field goal. Penalties helped the Eagles to the game's only touchdown. There have been 12 punts in the game. And now the Steelers start from their own 32-yard line. Stewart's pass caught by Courtney Hawkins. Flag on the play. Hawkins down to the 35.
That's going to be against Troy Vincent. I'm going to go out on a limb here because there's been so many interference penalties going both ways, but it looked like Vincent grabbed him.
Defense, number 23. Penalty is declined. First down.
You see the grab, but outstanding timing between Hawkins and Cordell Stewart. But Cordell Stewart, again, reads the blitz, Kenny. He read the blitz, and there comes the defense of the Philadelphia Eagles right in Stewart's face. He knows he's got man-to-man coverage, and instead of a disconnect, as we saw in the first half to Burris, we're finding Stewart connecting with Courtney Hawkins.
A gain of 33 yards on the play. Now Stewart goes to the far side and Hines Ward, but the pass is incomplete. It bounced in front of Ward. 2nd and 10 coming up.
Just a little too cautious on this throw by Cordell Stewart, and also the Eagles got some pressure on him when he was throwing the football. And we saw that earlier in the game when Troy Vincent or Bobby Taylor had an interception. The Eagles got pressure on Stewart during his throwing motion.
2nd and 10 from the Eagles 35. Jerome Bettis inside the 25, first down and more. Another big play, a gain of 19 yards. Hollis Thomas finally tripped up Bettis.
And this is nice blocking out front by Duffy, 62, and Kreider, the fullback. Look at that, nice block that springs Jerome Bettis right into the second level of that Eagles defense.
The bus has not stopped very often today. 95 yards on the ground. Averaging just under 5 per carry. From the 16, it's Bettis again. Gains 2 down to the Eagles' 14-yard line. Under 4 minutes to go, third quarter from Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh. Eagles leading the Steelers 13-6.
Well, you cannot question that this Steelers offensive passing game has really come to life since Courtney Hawkins has come into the game.
Hawkins replaced the rookie Plaxico Burress. Stewart looking end zone. Looking for the fullback, Kreider. Carlos Emmons on the coverage, so it will be 3rd and 8.
Yeah, Emmons had outstanding coverage on that. Jeremy Tooman running down the middle of the field. He drew the safety, so Emmons had man-to-man coverage. He was singled up on Kreider. He did a nice job.
Third down and 8 from the 14. Stewart's pass incomplete. And a penalty flag, a late flag. But I'm not so sure that ball was catchable.
Yeah, I don't know. They may look to the other official to say to rule that it wasn't catchable. If it was catchable, it was pass interference. Because again, you can go for the ball, but you can't drive through the receiver. Just a slant pass, and again, going to Courtney Hawkins. Boy, I don't know if you know if it was catchable or not because Vincent hammered him. He never had a chance to leap. I think that would have been a catchable ball. You know, if Vincent doesn't knock him down into the ground.
Pass interference, defense, number 23.
That's a good call.
First down.
That's a good call by the officials.
An automatic first down for the Steelers at the 7-yard line of the Eagles.
Watch it here. Now, if Hawkins can jump, you know, he can get his hands up and maybe get that football, but he can't jump because Vincent is knocking him around.
Bettis. A penalty marker on the play. Bettis is in for the touchdown, but a penalty flag in the end zone.
Did you see the movement and the change of direction by Jerome Bettis on that play, Kenny? Man, that's a pretty sight. Watch him. Look at the size of this guy and the power, but watch him break this thing back.
Defense. Penalty is declined.
Oh, that's nice.
Touchdown.
Even with 12 men on the field, the Eagles could not stop Jerome Bettis.
Oh, no, and that was pure running. That wasn't just power. That was Jerome Bettis' running skills at their best.
His 7th rushing touchdown, and he goes over the 100-yard mark for the 5th time this season. Chris Brown for the point after. And we are tied at 13. The Steelers have fought their way back. Jerome Bettis, 104 yards on the ground, and this touchdown.
Kenny, all of a sudden the Steelers have got a bit of a passing game. Just a bit between Stewart and Hawkins. So it's opening up the running game. So I think you're going to see is Bettis is going to continue to get stronger and to be able to find holes in that defense because the Eagles are now, for the first time, being forced to respect the pass.
Courtney Hawkins with 4 receptions in today's game. He came in with only 1 all season, and he has become the go-to receiver. Jerome Bettis, this is rushing yards, not total yards in the game, but rushing yards. Bettis with 104, the Eagles only 31.
And 14 of those 31 have come from Donovan McNabb.
McNabb, the Eagles' leading rusher. There we go, rushing yards. Ryan Mitchell back deep. Here's Mitchell from the 2-yard line. Out to the 21. Jason Simmons with the special team stop. The sellout crowd on their feet here at Three Rivers. You know, Tim, this weekend only the second time since the television blackout rules were put in 27 years ago that every NFL game, all 15 games, sold out this weekend by Thursday.
And this is why you come. Look at Jerome Bettis getting this crowd worked up, saying, hey, we need you. And then the towels are starting to fly, and that noise is going to have an effect on this Eagles offense.
From the 21. McNabb's pass was caught. And up to the 25-yard line. Stretches the former Steeler, Charles Johnson, before he was tackled by Joey Porter and Aaron Smith.
Boy, you can sense the intensity of this Steelers defense right now, Kenny. They're getting pressure on McNabb. They're tightening their coverage. And boy, wherever that ball is, you're seeing black jerseys swarm to it.
Second and 7. And McNabb is taken down by Aaron Smith. His 4th sack of the season.
Steelers come with the blitz, and Aaron Smith is unaccounted for. Watch Smith. He's right here. He's going to run right through that offensive line, and McNabb has no protection whatsoever.
A Division II All-American at Northern Colorado. Aaron Smith, a loss of 9 on the play. Now 3rd and 14. McNabb again in trouble, and he's taken down. This time it's Jason Gilden. You think the Steelers defense is pumped up? Do you think this crowd is pumped up?
You know, I'm standing here and I can feel it. I feel like, you know, I can feel, you feel the energy. Everybody's pumped up. They go with the coverage. Only a 3-man rush. So Donovan McNabb has nowhere to throw the football, and Jason Gilden runs him down from behind.
Poteet awaiting Landetta's 7th punt. He takes it at the 39. And is forced back.
What a hit.
To the 37. James Starling with the special teams tackle after a 45-yard punt by Landetta.
Now is when this Eagles defense needs to make a big play. They're going to need to come on a blitz and make a big play of their own to reverse the momentum, because as you said, Kenny, you can feel the energy here in Three Rivers Stadium, and the momentum is clearly right now in the hands of the Steelers.
Eagles led 10-6 at the half. We are now tied at 13. From the 37, Stewart has the ball knocked loose. Penalty marker is down. Eagles say they have it. Ball is underneath the pile. A penalty marker is down as well.
It may be holding against the Steelers offensive line. Corey Simon was the guy that came in and stripped that ball right out of Cordell Stewart's hand. Kenny, it's just what I was talking about. Eagles defense needed to come up with a big play. It is holding. I think whoever it was holding Hugh Douglas too.
Both coaches await the official ruling from Dick Hantak.
Black had possession of the ball. We have holding on the offense, number 72.
Now that was Wayne Gandy on Hugh Douglas.
And the Steelers recovered.
Yeah, but that's a sack and a forced fumble for Corey Simon. Watch Simon right here. Watch him. Look at him. Come right up, around. Watch him slap this ball. Slaps it free right there.
First down.
And then the ball wound up underneath the maze of players, and according to the officials, the Steelers recovered.
So it's a big play, but not a huge play because they didn't get the ball back. And I don't know why they wouldn't decline that penalty, Kenny, and make it second down and about 13 or 14. That's what I would have done.
Well, Andy Reid instead forces the Steelers back. 1st and 20. Richard Huntley out to the 32-yard line, a gain of 4. Jeremiah Trotter made the tackle as we hit 1 minute remaining, 3rd quarter from Three Rivers. Eagles and the Steelers both hoping to advance to the playoffs. Steelers with a record of 5-4. They've won 5 of their last 6. Eagles at 6 up and 4 down. Second and 16. Stewart to Bettis. Oh, he's cut down nicely by Tim Houck.
Hey, that is an excellent play by Houck.
They call Houck the missile. He was on target right there.
I'll tell you, you talk to Tim Houck, and you look at him for the game, you wonder, how could this guy be in the National Football League? He's skinny and he's old, but look at that. I mean, look at that. That's beautiful. He reads it perfectly.
He's lasted 11 seasons in the NFL as the 3rd quarter comes to an end. Eagles 13, Steelers 13 as we head to quarter number 4. Here in Pittsburgh, Kenny Albert along with Tim Green. What do you look for in this 4th quarter?
Well, I mean, the momentum was the Steelers, and I said the Eagles defense needed to come up with some big plays, and right now they're in the midst of that. 3rd and 20 for Cordell Stewart, courtesy of a holding penalty and a beautiful defensive play by Tim Houck.
3 wide receivers. Now 3rd and 20, movement on the line.
Encroachment, defense, right tackle, contact prior to the snap, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Right in here.
Brandon Whiting.
Yep, Whiting.
So the Steelers gain back 5 yards on the penalty. Now 3rd and 15. First play of the 4th quarter in a tie game. Stewart looks downfield, gets the pass away. It's caught by Troy Edwards, but he is stopped well shy of the first down marker by Jeremiah Trotter. A gain of 6, so the punt team comes out once again for the 7th time.
But that was nice defense by the Eagles secondary, and that's just what you want to do. If they're going to complete the pass, you let them complete it in front of you and make the tackle. And all of a sudden, the Eagles defense did everything they had to do to slow down the momentum that really belonged to Pittsburgh. And you can feel the energy has started to sag in this place as well.
It's been a busy afternoon for the return man. Here's Brian Mitchell, took it at the 21. And is upended at the 23-yard line. Back in Pittsburgh, tied at 13, a homecoming of sorts for the Eagles. Director of Football Operations, Tom Odrak, who spent 20 years in the Steelers front office. And only the 2nd running play of the second half for the Eagles as Darnell Autry gains 1 on first down.
Well, one thing about this Steelers defense, and all of a sudden, again, can you feel it's like somebody hit the switch in the crowd here? Because everyone is excited again, and you can feel the energy. They have had 7 3-and-outs. 7 3-and-out series against this Eagles offense. Only 4 times have the Eagles taken it more than 3 plays.
McNabb to the air on second down, and the pass was short, intended for the fullback, Cecil Martin.
You know, the Eagles, Kenny, right now, I mean, you can see the way that this offense is incomplete is showing right now, because we've not seen anything really consistently going to the wide receivers in the deep passing game. The running game has been non-existent, and the short passing game is it's either all that or nothing.
McNabb just 2 for his last 11. Can't find anyone, and is up, taken down, a penalty flag as Joey Porter brought down Donovan McNabb, but a penalty flag on the field. It's been a very busy afternoon for the officiating crew, and this one is holding against the Steelers.
Well, that's been the best thing for the Eagles all day, really. I mean, they to this point, they've got Pittsburgh has 9 penalties for 93 yards. This will add to that.
Coming into the game, Steelers had averaged only 5 penalties per game, second fewest in the NFL.
Almost half of the first downs Eagles have had come by penalty.
Defense, number 67, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Yes, this their fifth first down via penalty.
If Chemo's holding, it's because he's grabbing somebody on a stunt to try to free someone else up. Oh, he just grabbed he grabbed Stanley Pritchett, the fullback, coming out of the backfield. So he took away Donovan McNabb's dump off pass.
The 10th Steelers penalty today, and an automatic first down from the 30. McNabb dumps it off, and good coverage on the play by the linebacker Earl Holmes.
Remember I said earlier, Kenny, that the Steelers defense has got to clamp down on those underneath passes, because again, Donovan McNabb looks downfield. He wants to throw downfield, but there's nothing there. And then when he goes to throw the short pass, Earl Holmes is clamped right down on Autry.
Second and 10 from the 30. Stanley Pritchett. He lost the football. Steelers have it. Joey Porter reaches across. He lost the football, but the signal is touchdown.
Kenny, Levon Kirkland, the biggest linebacker in the business, drives right through Pritchett. Watch him, 99 there. He and Lee Flowers just blow up Stanley Pritchett. Look at Porter. That's fantastic. That is a fantastic effort.
Steelers take their first lead as their defense scores. Joey Porter on the 32-yard fumble return. Ryan Mitchell takes the return across the 30. Let's take another look at the Porter touchdown.
Well, Kenny, I'm not 100% sure if he didn't fumble this before he got into the end zone. Watch it here. And that ball right there is out.
Now, it's hard to tell from that angle where, in fact, he crossed the plane.
But watch this one, and if you stop it right there, that ball
looked like it was.
That looked like it was out. The Steelers
Personal
wisely
foul.
lined right up and ran their extra point.
On the kicking team, number 57, 15-yard penalty, first down.
I think Charles Johnson, who's the guy tackling his former teammate, well, not Porter. Porter's not his teammate because he's too young, but I think Johnson stripped that ball out of there.
The ball then rolled out of bounds in the end zone. It would have been a touchback for the Eagles.
Yeah, they would have had
Andy Reid did not challenge.
First and 10 on their 20-yard line.
Andy Reid did not challenge. Touchdown stands. And a face mask called on the Steelers, John Fiala. gives the Eagles 15 extra yards to work with. From the 46, they go right back to Pritchett, who fumbled. And Pritchett was taken out of bounds via the face mask.
That's going to be 15 yards, and all of a sudden the Eagles have got some outstanding field position. You know, remember that this is kind of a similar situation the Eagles had last week with Dallas. It looked like they weren't going to win
Personal
that
foul.
game.
Defense.
And I think Donovan McNabb, who really, boy, that's
15 yards.
That's a dangerous one there. But Donovan McNabb in that Cowboys game, you know, he had a couple interceptions and he kept his spirits up and he kept those guys on the sideline and said, we're going to win this game. Don't worry, we got confidence. And sure enough, the Eagles did come back and win. So when you perform like that only a week ago, you know, that lets you build. You could build on that level of confidence for this week.
And penalties continue to kill the Steelers. Consecutive 15-yard penalties. McNabb's pass deflected at the line. Consecutive personal fouls giving the Eagles 30 yards. Steelers today 12 penalties, Tim, 128 yards.
Boy, I mean, the Eagles' total offense has only had 136 yards.
So they've gained nearly as many yards via penalties. On 2nd and 10, it's Pritchett once again. Turns the corner. And is stopped about a yard shy of the first down. So it looks like the Eagles have made the switch from Darnell Autry to Stanley Pritchett in the backfield despite Pritchett's fumble moments ago.
Autry, Kenny, was averaging a yard per carry. He had 7 carries for 7 yards. And Pritchett has been much better than that throughout the season as well. I mean, coming into this game, Pritchett was averaging over 4 yards a carry.
There's Autry on the sidelines. 3rd and 1. McNabb pump fakes, throws, and it's caught. It was bobbled and caught by the fullbacks, by Stanley Pritchett.
How many heart attacks did they just have in the Philadelphia area? Right? I mean, this is again, it's 3rd and short, and instead of running the ball, the West Coast offense, they go to the pass, they go to the short pass.
Let's see, there's one off the helmet.
Right off his helmet again.
And he pulled it in.
Yeah. That wasn't quite as fortuitous as Antonio Freeman's catch, but it was a lucky bounce.
And a big first down for the Eagles, who now trail by a touchdown. They led this game 10-0. McNabb to the outside, short. Intended for Torrance Small. McNabb in today's game only 15 of 41.
Yeah, and that pass right there was just a bad pass by Donovan McNabb.
Five of 18 in the second half. Eagles have abandoned the run game. Now 2nd and 10 from the Steelers' 21. McNabb takes off. Down to the 11-yard line. McNabb gains 9 on the play. Stopped about a yard shy of the first down marker.
Well, that's a good play for them. You know, you always talk about Donovan McNabb and developing in this West Coast offense. And I think part of the reason, you know, as he talked to Terry Bradshaw on the pregame show, he wants to show people that he's smart enough to run this offense. But I got to tell you, his legs are just as dangerous as his arm.
Officially 3rd and 2. McNabb to Autry. And he is stopped. Stopped a yard shy of the first down marker by Levon Kirkland and Brent Alexander. Penalty marker. It's against the Eagles.
Kenny, I think they were going to be short of the first down anyway.
Yeah, they were.
So
by about a yard.
Depending on if this
tripping offense. Number 71, 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down, 3rd down.
Jermaine Mayberry called for tripping.
That's something that a lot of offensive linemen do. And if you're getting beat in the pass protection here, you just stick that foot out. Earl Holmes got past him and he just stuck that left leg out there and kicked Earl Holmes right in the shin to bring him down. That's something offensive linemen do all the time. They don't always get caught.
3rd and 12. Corn Small looking to throw. Nobody open. And Small was tackled.
Boy, I thought Chad Lewis was open. Thought Chad Lewis, Kenny, might have been open to the backside up here. Let's take a look and see. Yeah, look at that. Look at him up there. He is wide. There's no one there. The popcorn vendor was closer to Lewis than any Steelers defender.
And now David Akers to attempt a 38-yard field goal. Off the left upright, no good. .9:20 remaining 4th quarter. David Akers missed a 38-yard field goal off the upright. So the Steelers maintain their 7-point lead. Their defense gave them the lead. Joey Porter returning a Stanley Pritchett fumble. 32 yards for a touchdown. And now the Steelers will look to choose some time off the clock. Jerome Bettis gains 4 on 1st down. Up to the 34. 2nd and 5. Where the Steelers look to win for the 6th time in their last 7 games. Stewart off the pump fake, a penalty flag. Courtney Hawkins, the intended receiver. Troy Vincent on the coverage.
Holding. Defense. Number 23. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
I'll tell you, since Courtney Hawkins has come into this game, Troy Vincent has had some problems. That was a clear holding penalty there. Good call by the officials, but that all of a sudden, Kenny, right? The Steelers have got a little bit of a passing game. Hasn't been huge, but it's been something, which is more than they've had in the last couple weeks.
To the outside. Jerome Bettis close to another 1st down.
He's good. Now he's got that shake going. When he starts to shake after he runs the ball, Jerome Bettis is into it and he's ready to take over the game. Nice block by Kreider, the fullback.
118 yards on the ground.
See him get up and start shaking.
Bettis looks to go up the middle and is stopped short. So it will be 3rd and 1. Tim Houck.
Boy, that was Houck again. Houck shook the bus that time. That's how you play in the league for 11 years, and when you're not the biggest guy in the world, you just shoot in there. Watch him just shoot in there, and you give up your body. Houck has a great knack for that and a fearlessness that you can't buy. I think you have to be born that way.
3rd down and 1. Bettis, good second effort for the 1st down at midfield.
Yeah, and once again, Kenny, just like the touchdown run, you get to see the complete Jerome Bettis, the complete runner. Because this isn't about power here. This is about a move. Watch him make the move and cut back to the inside and find the 1st down. It's outstanding.
Jerome Bettis with his 5th 100-yard game this season, 44th of his career. He has a touchdown today. 1st and 10 from midfield. Richard Huntley. Huntley, another Steelers 1st down.
Kenny, this is the kind of situation that this Steelers team is built for. A little bit of a lead, late in the game. Let's play defense. Let's run the football. And if the Eagles are going to maintain their position in the NFC East, they're going to have to come up with a really big play. They're going to have to come up with a turnover or a return for a touchdown or an incredibly long pass or run by Donovan McNabb.
164 yards on the ground for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Huntley gains 3 more yards. The Steelers defense, Tim, finally allowed a touchdown for the first time after 21 consecutive quarters without allowing one.
Yeah.
But then they scored a touchdown here in the fourth quarter.
Right. So they kind of knocked it out. And they're going to be bitter about that touchdown because, again, Chad Scott was called for a pass interference penalty down near the goal line that I didn't think it was pass interference.
And normally when you speak to defensive players, they talk about matchups with the offense, but defensive players on both sides said basically in this game today, we're going against their defense. 2 strong defensive units and a 1-touchdown lead for the Steelers. Bettis, another big hole down to the 22 of the Eagles, a gain of 14 yards. Eagles have had their problems stopping the run. Cowboys gained 204 yards on the ground last week. The Steelers have gained 182 yards on the ground today.
And as you said, Kenny, in the beginning of this game, you said, Jerome Bettis gets better as the game goes on, and he certainly has gotten better as this game's gone on.
Season high 134 rushing yards. Bettis. No gain on that play, and the Eagles call timeout. They stop the clock with just under 4 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. They will be underway momentarily at the Meadowlands. Bettis swaddled up. Eagles call another timeout, their second.
I got to tell you, I mean, the effort that they're giving defensively right now to try to shut this down and get their offensive ball back is strong. I tell you, Jeremiah Trotter came in on a run blitz and he just blew up the offensive line. You could sense the frustration and the intensity and the tenacity of Trotter on that last play.
3:52 remaining. Those of you watching the Steelers and the Eagles in New York, you will switch over to the Rams and the Giants momentarily in time for kickoff. Steelers leading the Eagles 20-13 with 3:52 to go.
Kenny, watch this. Watch Trotter right here. Look at that. I mean, he just comes right up under Duffy and blows up the offensive line.
Trotter's played a strong game today. 11 tackles. Third down and 11. Steelers keep it on the ground, and Bettis is stopped after a short gain. Terrific job, as always, by our entire crew here in Pittsburgh. Producer Larry Lancaster, Director Peter Bleckner, our Associate Director Marcy Kempner, Broadcast Associate Robert Slosby, Technical Producer Kevin McRoby, the studio produced by Scott Ackerson, directed by Bob Levy. The senior producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown. The executive producers, Ed Gorin and David Hill. 40-yard field goal attempt. Chris Brown hit from 52 earlier. His kick is good. So the Steelers now lead by 10. Pittsburgh 23, Philadelphia 13. Eagles led 10-0 in the first half, but Bill Cowher's Steelers have scored 23 of the last 26 points in the game.
Kenny, the Steelers have been at this point during midseason for the last couple seasons where they had a 5-4 record and then really went in the tank for the last 7 games. And then Bill Cowher this week, I think to energize his team, I think it was pretty bold. He said, hey, we're going to run the table. We're going to win the last 7 games. That's what we should do. That should be our goal. And look at this here. I mean, they started out 5-3. Excuse me, I said 5-4. 5-3 in the last 2 years, and they started out that this year. Then they lost last week to Tennessee, and instead of getting something like this, Cowher said, no, we will run the table.
Steelers lost their first 3 games this year. They won their next 5. Lost to the Titans last week, 9-7. And lead this one 23-13. Short kickoff by Brown. Taken back across the 40 by Brian Mitchell out to the 44. A 24-yard return to Shea Townsend made the stop. Crunching the numbers for us today, Eric Merlis, Barry Hockhauser, Mark Cole, and Eric Norton. And we would also like to send out special thanks to Dave Bernstein, Bill Murillo, Jake Clark, Mike Address, and Gene Matthews from Three Rivers Stadium, with the Steelers leading by 10. Donovan McNabb only 15 for 41 in today's game. From the 43-yard line, McNabb's pass is caught in Steelers territory by Torrance Small for a gain of 18.
This is, if they're going to have a prayer, that's what they got to do. Downfield, McNabb's going to have to make the tough throw, and his receivers are going to have to make the tough catch.
3 receivers set from the 39. McNabb dumps it off to Stanley Pritchett. Looks for the sidelines. That is forced out at the 37. Remember, the Eagles have no timeouts. Clock continues to run.
Yeah, and that kind of dump off, that may have been the strategy early on, but as I said, Donovan, he's going to have to push this ball downfield. They're going to have to make the big play now.
Eagles spread the field. 3 wide receivers. McNabb to Pritchett. Has running room, has a first down. And a penalty flag, a late hit out of bounds.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be against Pritchett or Flowers. From way up here where we are, it looked to me like Pritchett hit Flowers. Now Pritchett went down.
The player had stepped out of bounds on the 26-yard line. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 41, 15 yards, first down.
Here it is. Well, I don't know.
The 4th personal foul against the Steelers in today's game.
Yeah, I mean, really, Lee Flowers, he sees Pritchett coming at him and lower his shoulder, and he basically just gets low to protect himself.
13th Steelers penalty. Eagles have gained 148 yards on penalties. McNabb to Brian Mitchell. Mitchell looking for the end zone, has the touchdown. So the Eagles come right back down and score a 13-yard touchdown pass from Donovan McNabb to Brian Mitchell. Mitchell's first receiving touchdown of the year.
This is the most offense we've seen from the Eagles all day. It started with a long pass from McNabb to Torrance Small, and then the short swing pass to Pritchett, then another Steelers penalty, and then yet another short pass to a long gain to Mitchell.
So the Eagles back within 3. Remember, Akers missed a field goal earlier in this half. He hit the left upright.
Right.
Now the Eagles began their season, Tim, with an onside kick against Dallas.
And because of that, you know, John Harbaugh, the special teams coach for the Eagles, and they practice that a lot. I mean, they probably practice an onside kick as much as any team in the league. So the interesting thing now will be to see what kind of an onside kick they do, because there's a couple different ways you can do it. You can declare, you can line up 10 guys and kick it into the bunch, or you can go 5 and 5 and start one way and kick it back the other.
Andy Reid noticed something in watching Dallas Cowboys films about a month before the season opener. At that point, he decided they would begin the season with an onside kick. He didn't even tell his special teams coach, John Harbaugh, about it until a couple of minutes before the game. And it was successful. Eagles went on to win that game.
Well, I got to say, Kenny, though, if I had to do an onside kick, one of the last teams I'd want to have to do it against would be the Steelers, because they also have outstanding special teams. And it starts with Bill Cowher. He was you said it before, special teams MVP for the Eagles as a player. So he puts a lot of emphasis on special teams. They take a lot of pride in it.
8 Eagles lined up to the left of David Akers.
The first wave wants to block, and the second wave wants to get the ball.
Kick is in the air. It's recovered by the Eagles. But the Steelers feel it was touched before it went 10 yards.
And there's a flag down there which suggests that that's the case. But we don't know.
Steelers arguing that Gerard Cherry touched it before it traveled 10 yards to the 40.
Touching. The ball was touched by the kicking team prior to it going 10 yards. 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
At least they get another shot at it if you are an Eagles fan. Yep, that's pretty clear that he gets it. Well,
yeah.
And then he falls forward. But
he definitely touched it before it sailed 10 yards. A touching of a kick is reviewable, but Andy Reid obviously getting word from his coaches upstairs that it was touched too soon.
Plus, they don't have any timeouts left either.
They used all 3 of their timeouts. So Akers this time from the 25. Ball must travel across the 35. It bounces up in the air. It's knocked back, and it looks like the Eagles have it. But the side judge, Tom Finken, says Steelers. Let's see.
Nope.
Now he goes the other way. He pointed in the Steelers' direction initially, but the Eagles have it.
Boy, that's a great kick by Akers. I mean, that ball was bouncing around like a pinball. This time
it bounces, crosses the 35, the 10-yard mark, and then is knocked back, and it was recovered by Tim Houck.
Well, Kenny, the Steelers defense, they like to be in these pressure situations. They like to have the game in their hands, and it is. So John Harbaugh, the special teams coach for the Eagles, all that practice has really paid off.
Penalty markers on first down. Do you think we can get through a series without another flag?
Offense, number 89, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Chad Lewis, the 22nd penalty in today's game.
Take a look again at that onside kick. No, really, that play is up to the kicker. He's got to get a lot of topspin on that ball so it bounces around just the way it did.
Big hole for Stanley Pritchett. Up to the 40-yard line. A gain of 13. Eagles do not have a timeout. They hurry to get back to the line as we approach the 2-minute warning. And McNabb will not get the playoff as we hit the 2-minute warning.
Eagles with the ball, trying for a last-minute comeback. If they fail, these are the 2 plays Eagles fans will remember. This Joey Porter touchdown that really looked like it wasn't a touchdown would have given the Eagles ball back. That's 7 points. And then this David Akers field goal for only 38 yards that hits the upright.
So the Steelers lead by 3. 2 minutes to play. Eagles without a timeout. McNabb's pass over the middle is nearly picked off. Chad Lewis, the intended receiver. So 3rd down and 2 upcoming for the Eagles. 1:55 on the clock. Four wide receivers set. McNabb dumps it off to Pritchett. And Stanley Pritchett picks up the first down, a gain of 5. So the Eagles move the chains. They need to gain about 20 to 25 yards to get into field goal range for David Akers. Pass incomplete, intended for Pritchett.
Well, it's remarkable, Kenny, that the Eagles are even in this situation. And we said earlier in the game that they had a big comeback last week against the Cowboys, and a lot of that came from Donovan McNabb and his unwillingness to sit down, his unwillingness to be rattled.
2nd and 10 from the 45. McNabb takes off. Gains 5 yards to midfield. Akers' career long, Tim, is 53. He's attempted a 59-yard field goal and missed.
You know, once again, Kenny, we've seen this Steelers front line do an outstanding job all day of limiting Donovan McNabb's scrambles up through the center of the formation.
3rd down and 5. McNabb with loads of time gets the pass away, and it's caught for a first down. Torrance Small down to the 31, and the Eagles are now certainly in David Akers' range.
What patience by Donovan McNabb. He gets protection and he has patience. He waits for Torrance Small to come open, and eventually Small did.
McNabb stops the clock with 43 seconds remaining. The line of scrimmage, the Pittsburgh Steelers 31.
Watch how long he has to hold on to this football. And he does, and he looks and he looks and he looks off, and then he sees Torrance Small separate himself from Chad Scott. And if you hold that ball long enough, your receivers, they'll get open.
McNabb has attempted a career-high 49 passes today. This is number 50, and it's complete to the 25-yard line to Chad Lewis. Down to 30 seconds remaining. 3rd down and 4. McNabb to Brian Mitchell. Stopped shy of the
They
first
got to
down
get the
marker.
field goal team out there.
Field goal unit on the field. Now 10 seconds. This will be approximately a 42-yard attempt to send the game into overtime. Akers' kick is good.
Whoa! Wow! What a comeback! Look at Andy Reid.
As time ran out in regulation, David Akers hit from 42 yards out, and we go to overtime.
You want to talk about a pressure kick? No time on the clock. The ball is snapped. Akers didn't even get to set up. This is more like a kick in a soccer game. Little redemption for David Akers, who missed a 38-yarder earlier when it hit the uprights.
Last week against Dallas, he tied the game late. He won the game in overtime. Eagles trailed by 10 with 3:42 to play.
I got to tell you, you've got to credit John Harbaugh, the special teams coach for the Eagles, for two things. One, they were able to get the onside kick, and two, they were able to, that extra point team had enough discipline and enough calm to get themselves out on the field with the clock running down, set up, and make it.
Handled in the press box by the instant replay assistant. Philadelphia, your choice. This is heads. This is tails. Heads. Heads is the call. It is heads. You will take the ball.
Eagles win the toss. Remember, they've won only 2 coin tosses at the start of games. They win the toss in overtime and will play their second consecutive overtime. They beat Dallas last week. Donovan McNabb and the Philadelphia Eagles have come back from a 10-point deficit in the final 3.5 minutes of the game. They recovered the onside kick, and we go to overtime.
I'll tell you, this has been just an incredible display of calm and composure by McNabb. And then watch these guys work. Watch the Eagles field goal team get themselves out there. Everyone's set up. Look at the discipline. They snap it. Akers lines up, boots it through. I mean, that's impressive. And as lackluster as McNabb and the offense were for almost the entire game, is as exciting, as efficient, and effective as they've been in the last 2 drives to close the gap and tie this game.
Brian Mitchell scored the touchdown, which pulled the Eagles to within 3 points before Akers tied it. Eagles have won the toss. They will play 15 minutes. First team to score wins. 2 timeouts per team. And replay is handled up in the booth. Coaches cannot challenge in overtime. 23 apiece. It's the 75th game between these clubs, the first to go to overtime. Brian Mitchell across the 35, so good field position for the Eagles.
And now I think what the Eagles want to do, Ken, is they want to look and say, okay, how did we get here? And they got where they are right now with McNabb connecting to 2 guys, Torrance Small and Stanley Pritchett. Now, other guys helped and other guys did things, but those were the money guys that closed the gap, and I think those are the guys they want to get the ball to in this overtime situation.
They will start from the 37. Eagles won the coin toss last week in overtime against Dallas. McNabb was picked off, but then the Eagles forced a turnover. Pritchett tripped and then gets back up and is stopped by Jason Gilden. So the Eagles playing their second straight overtime game. They've come back from 10 points down.
And McNabb was the one that tripped Pritchett.
Stanley Pritchett, the Eagles' leading rusher and receiver
today.
I think
Pritchett has earned a starting role in the Eagles' offense from here on in. I think that's what you'll see.
McNabb's pass caught by Chad Lewis, who was the key in overtime last week. He did not have a catch in regulation against the Cowboys. He caught 3 in overtime.
Well, he's had a couple of drops today, and that's not like Chad Lewis. I mean, he's been really their most consistent receiver this season and the guy that they like to go to.
3rd down and 3. Eagles need to get to the 47, and they do, as it's the former Steeler, Charles Johnson, who makes the catch on 3rd down, a gain of 5 yards.
Yeah, I tell you, Kenny, the other thing that's going on here, watch this Eagles line. Look at the pocket they give McNabb. Here comes the blitz. Here comes Brent Alexander. Here comes Earl Holmes, the linebackers, the safeties. But they give McNabb the time he needs to make that critical pass.
3 wide receivers. Eagles from their own 48. Pritchett into Steelers territory. Out of bounds at the 44-yard line. So the Eagles moving towards David Akers' range once again.
I'll tell you, Stanley Pritchett's got it going on. He's averaging 7 yards a carry.
2nd down 2.
Remember, it was Pritchett's fumble which led to the Steelers' touchdown.
Yep.
Joey Porter returning at 32 yards, but Pritchett since then has been outstanding. As you said, 7 yards a carry and 5 receptions. Akers getting ready. 2nd and 2 from the 44. McNabb dumps it off to Pritchett. Inside the 30.
Amazing composure by McNabb again. Did you see how long he held that? He knew the blitzer was coming. He knew he was going to get cracked. Watch the pressure come from McNabb's right. He saw it. He saw it coming, and he just held it long enough to dump that ball off to Pritchett. Again, Pritchett and Small. Those were the guys that got him there in the 2-minute that closed the gap. So you just keep feeding those guys the ball. It's working.
McNabb 12 for his last 16. Eagles keep it on the ground with Brian Mitchell. McNabb for the game, Tim, 26 of 55 through the air.
Wow.
12 for his last 16 down the stretch.
And that's it. That's really what it has come down to for McNabb. Is as disjointed as their passing game was all day, the bottom line, 12 out of the last 16. 10 points, overtime, and in position here again to score.
Down to the 23-yard line. A gain of 5 for Brian Mitchell. Here comes David Akers. This is for the win. A 42-yard attempt. And Akers' kick is good. The Eagles have won in overtime for the second consecutive week. A 13-point comeback. They trailed by 10 in the closing minutes. The special teams come through. They recovered the onside kick, hit the game-tying field goal at the end of regulation, and the game winner in overtime.
Well, I tell you, this was not a pretty way to win for the Philadelphia Eagles until these last few minutes of this game, where they looked like a different team. They look like a different team running the ball with Stanley Pritchett. They look like a different team throwing the ball with McNabb.